Part 1, Introduction and First Two Habits. Open with a warm, inviting smile and a cozy, well-lit background. Soft instrumental music plays in the background. Host. Have you ever wondered why some people stay vibrant and energetic well into their 80s and 90s, while others struggle with their health much earlier? What's their secret? Well, I'll let you in on a little truth. It's not about luck or genetics. It's about the daily choices they make. And here's the good news, you can make those same choices starting today. In fact, research shows that simple, everyday habits can add up to a decade to your life, and not just any decade, but a decade filled with energy, joy, and independence. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but I'm in my 60s, 70s, or beyond. Is it too late for me? Let me stop you right there. It's never too late to start. Science proves that your body and mind can thrive at any age when you give them the right tools. So today, we're diving into the first 2 of 5 daily habits that can help you live longer, stronger, and happier. These aren't complicated diets or grueling workouts, they're practical, science-backed steps you can start right now. Let's begin with the most overlooked habit of all. Cut to a close-up of the host holding a glass of water. Host. Habit number 1. Hydrate like it's your job. Now, I know you've heard drink more water 1,000 times, but stick with me. As we age, our sense of thirst weakens. By the time you feel thirsty, your body's already struggling. Dehydration isn't just about dry lips, it's linked to fatigue, joint pain, and even confusion. Here's the fix, aim for 6 to 8 glasses of water a day. But don't stress about counting, just keep a filled glass or bottle nearby. Add a slice of lemon, cucumber, or even a sprig of mint if plain water feels boring. Herbal teas count too. My neighbor Margaret, who's 82, swears by her morning ritual, a tall glass of warm water with lemon before breakfast. She says it kickstarts her day better than coffee ever did. And here's a pro tip, pair your water with meals. Take a sip between bites, it helps digestion and keeps you hydrated. Small tweaks, big results. Transition to the host standing in a kitchen, holding a bowl of colorful berries. Host. Now, let's talk about habit number 2, eat the rainbow, and no, I don't mean Skittles. Winks. I'm talking about loading your plate with anti-inflammatory foods. Inflammation is like a silent fire in your body, linked to heart disease, arthritis, and even memory loss. But the right foods can put that fire out. Focus on color. Bright berries, deep green spinach, golden turmeric, these aren't just pretty. They're packed with antioxidants that fight aging at the cellular level. For example, blueberries are tiny warriors against brain fog, while leafy greens like kale and spinach keep your heart strong. And don't forget spices. A pinch of turmeric in your soup or a dash of cinnamon in your oatmeal works wonders. My friend Carl, who's 76, starts his day with a golden milk latte, almond milk, turmeric, and a touch of honey. He says it's like a warm hug for his joints. You don't need to overhaul your diet overnight. Start with 1 colorful meal a day. Swap that afternoon cookie for a handful of walnuts and raspberries. Your body will thank you in 20 years, and honestly, you'll feel the difference in 20 days. Host walks over to a cozy armchair and sits down, leaning forward slightly. Host. Now, I want you to try something. Tomorrow morning, before you do anything else, drink a glass of water. Then, add 1 colorful food to your breakfast, maybe some spinach in your eggs or berries in your yogurt. Tiny steps, but they'll set the tone for your whole day. These 2 habits, hydration and anti-inflammatory eating, are like laying the foundation for a house. Once they're in place, you'll be amazed at how much easier it is to build the rest. And trust me, what comes next is just as simple and powerful. Music swells gently as the host smiles warmly. Host. So go fill that water glass, raid your fridge for something colorful, and meet me back here when you're ready. Together, we're not just adding years to your life, we're adding life to your years. Fade out with uplifting music and a text overlay. Stay tuned for part 2. Part 2, Middle 2 Habits. Open with the host sitting on a park bench, surrounded by trees and sunlight. Birds chirp softly in the background. Host. There's something magical about being outside, isn't there? Fresh air, sunshine, the sound of life buzzing around you. It reminds me that we're not meant to go through this world alone. And that brings me to habit number 3, nurture your connections. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I've got my family, my old friends, isn't that enough? But here's the thing, research shows that new social connections are just as important as the ones we've had for years. A Harvard study found that seniors with strong social ties have a 50% lower risk of dementia and live, on average, 5 years longer than those who feel isolated. But let's make this practical. You don't need to throw a party or host a book club, unless you want to. Start small. Strike up a conversation with the cashier at the grocery store. Call a grandchild and ask them to teach you how to send a photo via text. Or join a local walking group. My buddy Frank, who's 78, met his best fishing partner at a community garden. They swap stories and squash recipes every Tuesday. And if leaving the house feels tough, technology is your friend. Video calls, online classes, even social media groups for birdwatchers or classic movie fans, any interaction counts. The goal isn't to be the life of the party. It's to remind your brain and heart, I'm here, I matter, and I belong. Transition to the host holding a photo of a smiling older couple playing cards with friends. Host. Here's a secret, relationships aren't just good for your soul, they're medicine for your body. Laughing with a friend lowers stress hormones. Hugging a loved one releases oxytocin, which strengthens your immune system. Even arguing with your sibling over a board game keeps your mind sharp. So this week, I challenge you, reach out to one person you haven't talked to in a while. Send a voice note, write a letter, or invite them over for tea. And if you're feeling brave, say yes to something new, a senior center event, a volunteer opportunity, or even a virtual trivia night. You might be surprised how much lighter you'll feel. Cut to the host standing in a softly lit bedroom, holding a plush pillow. Host. Now, let's shift gears to habit number 4, and trust me, this one's a game changer. Protect your sleep like it's gold. Because guess what? It is. While you're snoozing, your body's repairing cells, flushing toxins from your brain, and even balancing hormones that control hunger and mood. Poor sleep, on the other hand, is linked to diabetes, heart disease, and memory issues. But here's the good news, you don't need sleeping pills or a fancy mattress to fix this. Let's start with your evening routine. Dim the lights an hour before bed. It signals your brain to produce melatonin, your natural sleep hormone. Swap scrolling through your tablet for a paperback book or calming music. And keep your bedroom cool, around 65 degrees Fahrenheit is ideal. Oh, and about those midnight trips to the bathroom? Try limiting fluids 2 hours before bed, but don't skimp on water earlier in the day. Remember habit number 1. Host sits on the edge of the bed, speaking gently. Host. My Aunt Clara used to say, sleep is for the young. Then, at 70, she started napping for 20 minutes after lunch and going to bed at the same time every night. Now, at 84, she swears it's why she still dances at her granddaughter's weddings. If anxiety keeps you up, try this. Keep a notebook by your bed. Write down worries or to-do lists before you turn off the light. It's like telling your brain, I'll handle you in the morning. And if you wake up at 3 a.m., don't stress. Read a dull book, tax manuals, anyone, until your eyes get heavy again. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Host stands and walks toward the camera, smiling warmly. Host. Think of today's habits like a cozy blanket. Connections keep you warm, and sleep restores your strength. They're simple, but together, they build a fortress against aging. And when we come back, we'll tackle one last habit that ties everything together, because true longevity isn't just about your body, it's about peace of mind, too. Fade out with serene music and a text overlay. You're doing great. Keep going. Note, Part 2 maintains continuity by visually shifting settings, part bedroom, and weaving in nods to part 1's habits, hydration, without direct recaps. Ready for part 3 when you are. Part 3, final habit and conclusion. Open with the host sitting cross-legged in a sunlit garden, hands resting gently on their lap. A gentle breeze rustles nearby flowers, and soft piano music plays. Host. There's a quiet power in stillness, isn't there? In a world that's always rushing, the most revolutionary thing you can do for your health is pause, to slow down. And that brings us to our 5th and final habit: embrace gratitude like oxygen. Now, I know that might sound a little abstract at first. Gratitude? How's that going to add years to my life? Let me explain. Studies show that people who practice gratitude regularly have lower blood pressure, stronger immune systems, and even reduced inflammation. But here's the kicker: it also rewires your brain to focus on joy instead of worry. And that is the secret to aging with grace. Here's how to make it a daily habit. Every morning, before you check the news or scroll through emails, take 60 seconds to name 3 things you're grateful for. It could be as simple as the smell of coffee, the sound of birds outside your window, or the fact that your knees carried you out of bed today. My friend Helen, who's 81, calls this her morning gratitude brew. She says it's changed her outlook more than any pill ever could. And at night, try this: keep a notebook by your bedside. Write down one tiny victory from your day. Maybe you walked an extra block, finally fixed that leaky faucet, or laughed so hard you cried at an old sitcom. Over time, these notes become a roadmap of the life you're actively choosing to love. Transition to the host holding a small potted plant, running their fingers over its leaves. Host. But gratitude isn't just about feeling thankful, it's about acting on it. Send a text to someone who made your day brighter. Donate those old books cluttering your shelf to a library. Or plant something: a flower, a herb, even a tree. Nurturing growth reminds you that you're still growing, too. My grandpa Joe started a tomato garden at 85. He'd say, "Every time I see a new sprout, I remember I'm not done yet." He lived to 97, and I swear, those tomatoes tasted like pure joy. Host stands and walks slowly along a garden path, sunlight dappling through trees. Host. Let's take a moment to tie it all together. We've talked about hydrating to fuel your cells, eating color to fight inflammation, connecting to nourish your soul, sleeping to heal your body, and now, gratitude to light up your spirit. These aren't chores, they're choices. Choices that say, my life matters, and I'm going to honor it. You don't have to do all 5 habits perfectly. Start with 1. Maybe tomorrow you'll drink more water and text a friend. Next week, you'll add a handful of berries to breakfast and jot down a gratitude note. Small steps compound into massive change. And if you stumble, that's okay. I've got a mug in my kitchen that says, "Growing older is mandatory. Growing weary is optional." Some days, just getting out of bed is a victory, and that's worth celebrating. Close-up of the host, eyes glistening with warmth and sincerity. Host. I want you to close your eyes for a second. Picture yourself 10 years from now. What do you see? A person who's vibrant, engaged, and thriving, or someone who's let life shrink around them? The difference isn't luck. It's the habits you plant today. So go ahead. Take that first sip of water. Call that old friend. Write down that tiny victory. And remember, every single day, you're not just aging, you're living. And that's worth fighting for. Music swells gently as the host smiles, extending a hand toward the camera. Host. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these habits will you try first? Share in the comments below. Your story might inspire someone else to take that first step. And if this video resonated with you, hit like and subscribe. Together, let's build a community that proves aging isn't about decline, it's about becoming. Thank you for spending this time with me. Now go out there and live like every day's a gift, because it is. Fade to a bright, uplifting shot of the garden with text overlay. Here's to your next 10 years. The channel's logo appears with a gentle chime.